XRP, XLM, and other laggy fans out there, I've got great news for you as someone just set the bar really high, along with the rejection in crypto. But there's a silver lining to that story. XRP, XLM price talk at the end.
Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Happy Friday, and oh, do I have juicy good news for you. Before crypto, we go to your comments. New to the channel, well, guess what? Buckle up. It's going to be a fun one. It's right before crypto, we get to your comments. Hot, spicy, naughty, relevant. Maybe I'll share it at the beginning of the next video. Brian Fern says, my bank here in South Africa just stopped transfers to my crypto account. That's right. I'm asking you to comment down below if your bank is or has given you a hard time regarding crypto. This is all in the back of the story of Brad Garlinghouse being debanked by Citibank. I thought banks were supposed to be crypto friendly. Make XRP great again says 10 out of 10 for the Cleveland Steamer on Gary for the thumbnail. Love it. Well, thank you for shouting out my artistic talent, or lack thereof. Wright says, thank you, Klaus, for the daily update. No, thank you all for viewing, and thank you all for the comments. I do this all for you. Do you notice how excited I am when I do this? Even when it's like bad days, I'm excited because I really like doing this and hanging out with you. Bitcoin sitting at 67,475. ETH is 2521. BNB 588. Sol 170. Some pullbacks here, right? We're seeing some deeper in the red, some Aptos pullback. Some sweet pullback. 182, by the way, it got up to like 225. Did anyone here play that sweet move and ride that hot pony? 52 cents is the price of XRP, and I gotta tell you, we've seen some moves in the crypto space here as of late, and I got news for you that's gonna help the entire crypto space. So that's right, XRP, XLM, other laggy fans out there, got you covered. But first, we gotta rip off the old Band-Aid. Microsoft board says no to BTC. What's behind the decision? So what happened is they were trying to propose a plan for BTC to be held as like a hedge against inflation, a reserve asset, similar to what Saylor does with MicroStrategy. And Microsoft being a public company, the board voted on it, and the board said no, they don't want to have BTC on their books. But there's a silver lining. This is just some good news. I'm going to share it with you. According to a recent filing with the U.S. SEC, Microsoft board and shareholders will address several key issues at the meeting. These include the suggestion to adopt BTC as a hedge against inflation and broader economic shifts. However, Microsoft's board has advised a vote against this proposal, stating that the company has already given careful consideration to such strategies, according to the filing. As outlined in a company statement opposing the proposal, Microsoft emphasized its stance against the Bitcoin investment. Past evaluations have included Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies among other options considered, and Microsoft continues to monitor the trends and developments related to cryptos to inform future decision making. Basically what's happening here is, again, it's a public company, so it all gets voted on, and the benefit, okay, is this statement right here. This proposal, initiated by the National Center for Public Policy Research, pointed to MicroStrategy's notable Bitcoin investment approach, which it claims has outperformed Microsoft stock by over 300% in the past year. And again, I brought this up earlier. Who the hell cares how you cross the finish line as long as you cross a winner? 300% gains to that stock. So MicroStrategy share owners made some big money. That's why they're bringing this to the vote. That's why this is important. Even though the board is like, do not do this. Do not do this. Don't do it. And I got that filing if you want to check it out, because this and all the other articles in this video will be linked to everyone in the description down below. But the NCPPR, right, the one that's talked about MicroStrategy, said this: at minimum, companies should evaluate the benefits of holding some, even 1% of its assets in Bitcoin. What about BTC ETFs? That would give them a little bit more protection right there. And I think you're seeing this as a growing trend across the board. People are seeing some success out there. They're seeing the success with MicroStrategy. They're seeing the success with some of these BTC miners out there. Some of European companies are even putting BTC on their books. They're seeing that success, and they're like, yo, you might want to consider at least putting your toes in the water just a little bit. Now, granted, they're not saying like go balls in, Michael Saylor action. But what they are saying is look, it's good to have some exposure. Now, 1% of your assets, is that really going to make a difference? I mean, let's be real here. No. When you start looking at things, you start thinking of 5-10% of your asset class in those like hyper risky items like that. 1%? I don't know, man. I think we all could swallow a bit more than 1%. Good news. You ready? Canadians. Blame Canada. Blame Canada. They're not even a real country anyways. No, they really are a real country. It's a real cool country. I've been there quite a few times. Montreal, Quebec City, along with a little bit of fishing trips. Anyways, Canada just cut their interest rate by 50 basis points. The Bank of Canada cut its benchmark interest rate by 50 basis points to 3.75% on Wednesday, marking its fourth consecutive cut since June. Canada's central bank declared monetary policy has worked and that the country is back to its inflation target. Wednesday's supersized cut was widely expected by markets as inflation slowed to 1.6% in September. So basically, Canada's got their stuff under control when it comes to rates, all right? I understand the whole Trudeau problem going out there. My support to the people up north. But they're putting pressure now on the United States. Because you got to think of global money, right? Global flow of money. If Canada's able to lower their rates faster, that means their businesses, their loans, their growth, their expansion is going to happen faster because they're bringing money cheaper, right? They're making it just cheaper, more available in terms of what you can do with it. So lowering rates, all of a sudden Canada, business development, expansion, and so forth, that could start roaring, which means more international money will come there. And then what happens is the United States and other countries are like, yo, we don't want to miss out on this money flowing. So then they're like, yeah, man, maybe we really should lower rates too and lower it by 50 basis points. Because if Canada keeps staying aggressive and their economy comes out of this whole thing faster than everyone else's, a lot of global money where their own countries, right, their own areas are really struggling and they're like, dude, I don't want to invest here because inflation still sucks. We have some problems with our government. They're going to start putting money into Canada. So countries don't want to miss out. So way to go, Canadians, for setting the bar when it comes to rate cuts. Other interesting news here, I thought I would share this with you too. Viewers in the United States as well as outside the United States. Again, doesn't matter how we cross the finish line as long as we cross it. No, of course not. A win's a win, right? Whether you win by 20 or you win by 1, that's a W in the column, and we're all about W's. Here's how high Standard Chartered says Bitcoin will jump if the Republicans sweep the election. They say 75,000 BTC price action for Bitcoin if Cam wins. But they say if the Trump trade happens, we could go 90,000 this year to 200,000 by the end of 2025. Basically citing Trump and the Republicans' pro-crypto stance. But to get that kind of big money, you're going to need rates to come down from a lot of countries, not just Canada. You're going to have to see more from the ECB, right? You're going to have to see more from the UK. You're just going to see just global monetary policy just get better. I mean, just really get better in terms of rates. Now, price action. All right. We talked a lot about Bitcoin like as a standard, and it is because it's number one. Who do you compare yourself to the best? If you don't compare yourself to the best, then there's something wrong. When they list like standings, like especially in baseball, how many games back are you from first? How many games back are you from the leader, right? Like, you see what I'm saying? Racetracks, same thing. First place, and then it's, oh, I'm minus 3 seconds behind them. Oh, minus 5 seconds, minus 7. Like, that's how we compare yourself to the best. So when we look at XLM, one of the things I want to point out is this. If we compare it with Bitcoin, because that's where a lot of these bigs are going to, and we zoom out to the 1 month, you can see Bitcoin is up, XLM is break even. For the year, BTC is up about 93%, XLM is down 18%. So when we talk XLM price action, I bring that comparison to BTC up because you can see the volume is down as well. So if a lot of this here news is about BTC, and making sure that the risky assets, right, start kind of getting a little bit of love from lowering the rates, laggards like XLM will benefit from rates going lower and lower because venture capital can then take that risk because it's not as risky because the money costs them less. That's going to help laggards like XLM, where the volume has been down. Honestly, compared to Bitcoin, it's an absolute disaster right now and has been for a long time. It's sad to watch. Now with XRP has stayed relevant. Has the case helped? Yeah. The case has definitely helped XRP stay relevant because it's in the news like 24/7 with the case. And you're guaranteed more relevancy now through at least 2025, 2026. And if we go to the Supreme Court, you're looking at 2027 on plus. So think about that. The other thing that XRP has is that it is big action on the election as well. Because the SEC, who's been just kind of wrecking crypto, has been really getting a lot of shelter from the Democrats. And it's not just going after XRP, it's going after exchanges out there, going after other protocols, other coins as well. I mean, the SEC has just been a wrecking ball. So XRP's got a few things for it that keep it relevant and that give it this bigger potentiality. Now, in terms of how big of a potentiality, look, I got to be honest with you. I've been the guy that said XRP is going to be like, at the most, if everything lined up perfectly this year, you'd be somewhere at $1. And I said that like, gosh, January, February. And I'm sitting here going, dude, man, even that was kind of optimistic. And I was hoping that rates were going to come down a little bit faster, but they haven't. So again, it's about rates too, because rates make money less risky. And that helps laggard assets. But XRP can stay relevant, and you're hearing about ETF, you're hearing about trust, electronically traded products. You're hearing about all this other stuff with XRP being put in this fund, in that fund. There's a relevancy there. And that relevancy, as long as it gets you across the finish line, is what makes you a winner. Now, the price has definitely not been a winner with XRP because, again, to be fair, let's do this. Let's compare it to Bitcoin, and let's do the same thing and go to 1 year. 1 year, same thing, Bitcoin at 94, XRP down like 5% for the year. So, I mean, you know, not as bad as XLM, but seriously not anywhere near as good as BTC. Is this because the SEC is still the storm cloud over XRP when it comes to price? Or is it because more and more people and businesses, right? And we're talking about boards of Microsoft, we're talking about MicroStrategy. Are they just preferring the BTC love? Oh, this is absolutely like the worst flavor. It's grape. Oh, yeah, that's not a good one. They're lime and lemon lime. Oh, really good. But W's are W's, but it also means L's are L's. So if the price of something that you're into, XRP, XLM, is down, is not performing well against market standards, then that's a definite L, right? Does it matter how you got there? Not really, because the end result is it's still mathematically an L. And last time I checked, bank account balances aren't shown by how many smiling faces or winky faces or like the eggplant emoji with the little water spoon. No, it's not. It's numbers. Bigger numbers always being better. And it's all relative too, right? Because what might be big for some might be small for others. So it's all relative. But the idea that we're looking at rates coming down is going to help everyone, all of the laggards. Because crypto is risky, period. Bitcoin, not as risky. So you're seeing it as a digital store of value, a digital hedge. And you're even seeing advocates out there to hold at least some BTC. And you hear that all the time, BTC this, BTC that. It's not about transactions and throughput and all that kind of BS. It's hedging against governments, against their misspending, against devaluation of local fiat. I mean, think of the countries out there where their inflation is just like 20-30% every year. Hedging with BTC, they're rich AF, man. They just on and off ramp that stuff and they're like so far freaking ahead. But there's still risk there. And so let's see what happens with rates, because Bank of Canada did some good moves there. A big 50 basis point cut puts the pressure on Jerome Powell in the U.S. And whenever the U.S. sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold, whether we'd like it or not. It also happens with banks and rates too, because there's a whole bunch of banks out there, central banks, that as soon as the U.S. Fed does something, they do the same exact thing. So if somehow, some way, JP could be good this November, I say a 50 basis cut would be absolutely juicy for the market. The odds, though, they're a little soft right now, and pretty much we're guaranteed at 25. Maybe a pause if we've been naughty. But that's happening 2 days after the election. And I'll be honest with you, that week is going to be absolute nuts AF. So get ready for a wild ride, but that also means this is the calm before the storm. Choo-choo, bitches. Oh, and race day is like 8 days away.